Well, that is definitely not good news because it sounds like Sony films are off the table for theatrical releases for quite a long time. So we have already talked about the fact that it looks like Spider-Man is being delayed with the start of production, which naturally also means that the actual film's release is probably going to see another substantial delay. Now, at the same time, Sony has multiple Spider-Man films in development, and of course they still have a few films that are set to release next year. Notably, they're looking at a new franchise starter with Morbius, a Venom follow-up with Venom 2, and of course Ghostbusters, along with a few other things they're trying to get off the ground. But when you compare Sony's films and outputs compared to, let's say, Marvel Studios, Disney, or WB, Universal, or even Paramount, they just don't measure up with how much they can put out in 1 year. And of course, if you look at Sony, it is crucial for them to make everything they put out a giant hit, because if one thing suffers, their bottom line at the end of the year really takes a hit due to the amount of output that they have, which doesn't equal the other studios, which I just went over. So this news is coming directly from Sony Pictures Entertainment chairman Tony Vincincro. Well, you can take it to the bank that I botched his last name, but he did confirm that it would be a mistake to release anything during the current worldwide climate that we're in, and obviously everything that's going on. So he said, if you look at how everything is doing, if you look at the recent theatrical releases, obviously referencing Tenet, and if you look at what Disney has had to do with the likes of Mulan, they're not ready for that. They can't do that. So he is saying that the big budget films that are currently shot and the ones that are going to be shooting are not going to theaters until theaters get back to normal. A baseline of normal means around 75% capacity is allowed to be held, but also at the same time, this means out of the 4,500 plus theaters in the United States, you need at least 4,000-ish to be operating at that capacity, which could literally still be years away. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and what each studio does, but definitely sounds like Sony is not going to risk making less money. And honestly, with their franchises and not knowing how things could shake out in a couple years for them, it's probably a smart call for them, but a terrible one for all of us fans.